Snowfall, Season 5, Episode 8, titled Celebration. We got to talk about this one. Listen, I go by the name of The Black Abstract. If you're new to the channel, you know the drill. Like, subscribe if you're new. If you aren't new and you've been rocking with me for a while, just want to say salute to you, and I appreciate you. Now, before we get started, got to give a shout out to the sponsors of this vehicle. It's Future Trillionaire Clothing. Go to IamTrill.com. Enter the promo code ABSTRACT when you check out. You get a little something off your order. You can also use ShopPay, Klarna, Afterpay. If you don't want to pay for the whole order, it is a minimum to use that, but you can use that as well. That is an option. Just want to let y'all know y'all got options. So once again, it's IamTrill.com, and go over there and support the channel, support your boy, and get some cool merch like this logo, this shirt I got right here. It's up there, man. It's exclusive. It's only a couple made, and you could be one of them with it. So let's get into this episode. Let me turn my brightness down right here. So we got to talk about this episode. Listen, I was on Twitter at the same time, and like the reactions to this were like, oh man, it's just like the Tiger episode. What's going on? And they forget about the Tiger episode had before that, it had like 3 different shootouts. It had 3 different like drive-bys, but they so worried about the Tiger. I'm like, dude, like it's not that serious. Like, people say it was exotic animals in the 80s. Look at Joe Exotic. He's a product of the 80s. Like, that was real shit with exotic animals. And it was just a situational shit. Hey, man, listen, you'd be surprised how much shit happened in the hood. Situations you wouldn't even believe. Like, yo, what the fuck? Did we really just go through that? So I just think it's one of those things. They was just trying to broaden the horizons, broaden the audience. Hey, some people like this, some people don't. I can't tell you what to like. I didn't mind it. I thought it was different. It was a little too convenient how they killed the people, but we got past it. That was that episode. This episode, we see Louis meeting up with Teddy, which we saw in the trailer last time, and we didn't know how it was going to go. We didn't know how it was going to play out. We didn't know if Teddy was going to be like, yo, go fuck yourself. But we learned that he agrees to deal with Louis directly, because obviously him and Franklin Sate have some static, and he's trying to do whatever he can to take down Franklin, which is weird because Franklin makes a shitload of money, and you're the one that did Franklin wrong. You gave Franklin your word you wouldn't harm his dad, and you decided to harm his dad. So obviously you got to understand Franklin feels some type of way. But I guess because when he did that, I guess he knew what the repercussions would be. He would be to eventually he will one day have to come after Franklin and take Franklin down. So I think once he made that decision, he was fully committed to do whatever he needed to do to take Franklin down. And now we see that it's getting deeper and deeper, the hatred for each other. And at the end of the day, Teddy, you could have just stayed gone, brother. You could have just let Franklin do his thing, but you had to be Mr. Narcissist, and you had to be involved. You couldn't you hated to see this operation running without you, because you had nothing else going on in your life. You needed this because you don't have anything else going on in your life. So now he feel he has he needs to take down Franklin. But him and Louis agree, and I was just like, Louis' name. And this is what I understand. If Louis is trying to get bricks for a cheaper price, right? And she's getting them for the same price that Franklin gets them. Franklin ain't putting no tax on her. Franklin's just like, listen, when you get these to your people, just bring me back my cut so I could pay this dude. So what is the point of her going directly to Reed for? And listen, if I'm mistaken, post it in the comments. But if I'm not mistaken, they get the bricks the same price that Franklin are getting them from. You remember they were getting them for cheaper, but then Teddy came back and said the price ain't going no lower. And he said that's final. Then he told Franklin, yo, you need to get Louis and Jerome in check. You know what I'm saying? Because they too ambitious. And Franklin was just like, yo, he want me to get y'all in check, but I'm going to just let y'all do what y'all want to do still. But what's the point of this? Is it just to go behind Franklin's back? I think it's just for her own selfish needs. She just feel like, I want to be in charge. I need to do this on my own. I was doing this before or when Franklin was injured, I could do it on my own. It got to be just a power play because I honestly don't see a reason for her to be talking to Teddy directly. But she don't realize what she getting involved in. You know what I'm saying? She don't realize what she laying in bed with. She don't know how dangerous Teddy is. Like, she just oblivious to what this man has done and what he's capable of. She really has no idea. But she's gonna find out. That's for sure. Especially with the shit that's happening. With what's gonna happen next episode with what's his face. You know, because Teddy don't care about shit like that. Teddy to be like, yo, you need to handle this situation. And they don't understand. That's what Franklin had to deal with. It wasn't, he couldn't present this to Teddy about something. If he did, it had to be in the process of being done or almost done. She don't understand that, though. We see Sissy meeting up with her Hispanic Bill about, and she's telling about the wedding. And she's like, yo, Teddy's going to be there. It's the perfect place to get him. And I'm like, I don't think Teddy coming to the wedding, bro. I don't think Teddy coming to the wedding. But she is believing that he's going to be there. And, hey, I thought Teddy would have been there, too. Apparently he wasn't. He knew Franklin was at the wedding. He had tabs on him. But he didn't show up himself. Next scene, we see a bar. A guy coming to ask Kane that somebody's coming to see him. And everybody was wondering. Everybody was in suspense. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Who is coming to see Kane? And it was Veronique, or whatever, however you say it, Wig. I know a lot of y'all call her Wig. Wig comes to see him, and she comes in like she's Griselda Blanco. I'm Franklin Saint's girlfriend. First of all, you're not Franklin Saint's girlfriend. You broke up with him. You are just a random girl who has Franklin's baby. Let's get that straight. Secondly, why would you put yourself in jeopardy like that going over? Thirdly, how does she know how to find Kane? And then fourthly, why would you go there and put yourself in jeopardy? And fifthly, why does Kane smoke so many cigarettes? I mean, he is just, I can smell the cigarettes protruding through the TV. That's how much he smokes them. But anyway, she goes there and kind of pleads for her life. Do I have anything to worry about? Should I run? Like, what the fuck? Like, who? Why? Yo, one thing about these females in the show is they all out of pocket. They is out of fucking pocket. And the men look like simps because they just getting ran by these bras. They making decisions on their own. They moving out of pocket. And I don't want to hear that shit, all the girls making moves. The girls is making all the wrong moves and fucking up shit. Why the fuck would she go there and put herself in danger? That nigga could have been on shit and just kidnapped your stupid ass and held you for ransom and told Franklin, listen, I'm going to kill her as retribution for my brother. And what your stupid ass would have said? Nothing. Dumbass wig having bra. I don't understand these bras, man. It's stupid as fuck. That was a dumbass move. Next we see Jerome and Louis in the office. You know, they feeling each other, man. It's great to see all these seasons these two are still in love, man. They came a long way from Jerome telling her, hey, Louis, go beat this bitch ass outside. And then she beating the girl up. He like, yeah, nephew. Ooh, that turned me on right there. You got to watch the first episode. It was great. But they came a long way, man. They complimenting each other. They both happy. They getting their tuxes and wedding dresses altered. And she tells Jerome that what's going on with Franklin. And Jerome don't like it one bit. And he like, listen, man, Franklin family. And you're not about to have me warring with my family. And she like, oh, I'm going to tell him after the wedding. I'm like, she a snake. Like, I honestly don't see Louis. No, you know what? I think Louis gonna make it out the season, but I think she gonna have to deal with everything that comes with her decisions. I think Franklin gonna be like, you know what? You want it? This is on you now. If Reed dealing with you, then shit, you deal with her. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I can see that happening. Like, I'm not doing it no more. All right, yo, this is what y'all want. Y'all want to be in charge. Y'all want me in leadership. Here you go. And then I think once they see that Franklin's gone, they gonna realize how fucking hard he had it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think gonna happen, man. I think this episode is more so just about eternal beef and these family realizing that they probably need each other and shit. But I think it's gonna come at the expense of somebody. And then well, I don't know. We'll see what happens though. But I think that's what this season is more about. It's about family, and a lot of people don't get that. People just want to see shoot 'em up, bang bang shit all the time. It's just like, yo, if you watch other shows, man, you watch Law and Order, you don't watch it to fucking shoot 'em up, bang bang shit. You watch it to watch the mystery and look at the acting and try to solve the case or try to figure out what's like. Every season doesn't have to be about that because the show will get tired quick, and that's not how the hood really be. It ain't always some shoot 'em up, bang bang, especially when you're on A level. You don't really see that shit. Um, Next we see the wedding, man. This wedding is fucking beautiful, dude. Like it's the most amazing thing you could think of. They got all the guests, past, present. Wanda Bell, Gail Bean, who plays her, is by far smoking everybody there. She is fine, and I'm glad they clean her character up. They got her looking good again. Oh my god! And I kept seeing this on Twitter too. She cold, man. Them lips with oh my god. Whew. I don't know what Leon doing. Leon need to be trying to get her back now. But listen, you know how it is when girls get their shit together. Now Leon try to go back. Nah, you ain't want me when I was bitch. You was a crackhead. But you see Leon try to get that old thing back. He like, yo, I want you to come to Africa with me. Man, Leon, I don't know, brother. She done probably had a lot of fucking dicks in her mouth, bro. I just don't. I can't. I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't see past that. I'm glad she done cleaned up. But no, she looked good for real, for real. She was looking all right, man. I'm like, damn. She cleaned the fuck up. She not only she cleaned up, she Franklin like, yo, I'm happy. Like she doing good in life. Same thing with Mel, man. Mel was able to kick that shit, man. That shit wasn't probably easy back then. And it's still around for her to accessible for her to get. So, man, shout out to Wanda, man. Shout out to the actress Gail Bean for playing her. If you're watching this, man, salute. But yeah, it's a bunch of shit going on at the wedding. Jerome and Louis exchange vows, and it's no less than what you think it would be, loud and obnoxious. Yeah. They screaming and shit. And then we see Skelly at the fucking wedding. I'm like, wow, Skelly's here, Avi's here, Gustavo's here, Leon's here, Dion, Einstein. It's a bunch of people. Sissy, obviously. And then you got the little Sissy's Hispanic Bill. I'm trying to say, what is it? Beau, Beau, whatever that however you pronunciate that. I think it's Beau, whatever. Like their significant other. But he's there as a waiter. I'm like, this motherfucker really 007. And this would have been perfect if Reed would have showed up. It would have been, but I think Reed might have read the room immediately. Like he I don't know. Reed just got this knack for seeing shit. Franklin is the ring guy, the ring boy, whatever. So he got the ring. But listen, and it's like black excellence at its finest. Everybody looks good. And you see Skelly over there, the fondue. And I'm like, what he up to? And he was like, yeah. So he's like, hold on, what's going to happen with this? She was like, well, I'm going to dip it in strawberries and I'll serve everybody. And he was like, yo, what if they don't eat it or some shit, he said. And she was like, well, I guess they could take it home or whatever. And he's like, oh, can you get me a water? And his look on his face. And I was like, listen, even Scully cleaned up good. Scully had he had his hair cut. He looked clean cut. That's the first time I seen him clean like that in the whole series, man. And he looked stressed out. But this motherfucker put some PCP, what they say? No, acid. I don't know. It's like different shit throughout the entire show. But I guess acid is what he put inside the fucking chocolate fondue. So he puts this in here. And nobody's thinking nothing of it. And the next thing you know, you see Franklin tripping the fuck out. And that's when he had the interaction with Wanda. He's hugging her up, filling her up. And you can see she was like, ooh, she was feeling that. I'm like, okay, Franklin. And it just takes a fucking dive from there. Everybody's fucked up off this shit. Like, everybody. It's amazing, man. I'm pretty sure the cast had a hell of a time recording this episode because it was nothing short of just hysterical. But at the same time, it was a deeper meaning to this episode. Everybody that ate this obviously had a trip, but Franklin had like a bad trip. you know. And even Sissy was high, and she was like, "Yo, you gotta lean into it." And Franklin was just kind of coming to face with his demons. Um, Even when the lady was like, "Yo," she offered the waiter offered them some champagne. Nah, I don't drink. She was like, "Well, if you're not gonna drink, you might as well take this whole tray." And that's why he had a worse trip than everybody, because he had a fucking whole. You notice they emphasize in it. He had a whole plate of strawberries or the chocolate, so he ate them. Wanda is allergic to chocolate, so she didn't eat them, which would have been crazy because that would have helped. That would have had her relapse, and I'm glad that happened. You know what I'm saying? But she was just nurturing, checking up on everybody. I'm just checking up on everybody, make sure everybody good. We did see in the trailer, you remember the two gentlemen that were fighting? Mark Dyke called it out. He said that was Dion and the guy that plays Gerard on Power, which is their cousin. I forget his name here. The country, Louis' country cousins. So they were fighting and they laughing and shit. He's like, "Yeah, hit me again." They were all high and hugging and Sissy see that they're living a fabulous life, because everybody was wondering how they were doing down there. Or like, I thought this season for sure they would have brought them back and been talking about how they were doing down there. But who knows? Maybe they might have a spinoff. But they're thriving. You know what I'm saying? It actually took off for them. So they're actually thriving and doing good. They're like, "Yeah, we on Rodeo Drive." We done bought some clothes in a super country. He said they weren't ready for our country. But I love the fact that they brought them back and had them in a wedding, because it would have been weird if they introduced them and they never showed them again. So it was pretty good. You see Franklin's like, "Yeah, hey, man." He's getting people's chairs. Like when this shit first hits him, he's leaning into it and being super, super like fucking helpful and touchy feely. And the longer it goes on, oh, then the scene when he was like, "Yo, did you see that something run across the table?" And he's looking on the table like, "Was that a squirrel or something?" I'm like, yo, yo, that shit was hilarious, man. But once it started hitting him harder, that's when he started having these hallucinations, and to me, it was him dealing with his conscience. That's what it was. It was Franklin Saint. This episode was Franklin Saint versus his conscience. He was coming to grips in terms of all the things he'd done. He was coming to grips with his narcissistic characteristic that he has and displays. And he was just kind of gave himself a reality check, which we see in the trailer for the next episode. He's dealing with that even more now. He's saying, "Listen, I ain't doing this shit no more. Like I'm falling back. Like if you go to war, I ain't gonna be there with you." You know what I'm saying? He done been through that before. Like he been through it. He let Leon handle it. Leon was handling it. This is the point of a fraction when they don't listen to the head. And if you're not listening to the head, I mean you don't respect the head. And if you don't respect the head of that organization, then the organization ain't never gonna work, because it's always gonna be some resentment and it's always gonna be something going on behind your back. But to me, this was Franklin dealing with his to grips and terms. I love the interaction between Scully and Scully and Franklin. When he was sitting near the tree, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I just wanted to tell Jerome and Louis they welcome for their wedding gift." Pretty much telling that he pretty much spiked the chocolate, and this is the shit Scully been on for the last 3 seasons, when he's you hear the vibes, shooting at lights and shit. We wondering what the hell he been going on. And I don't know, guessing this is shit he put in his ear when So this is shit he been on. This dude thrives in this. And this is the first time us seeing Scully normal. And he's talking to his Franklin and telling him, "Yeah, we became bonded in death." This is a growth of a man right here. This people killed your wife and your daughter. Like, it's sitting right in there. Like, Leon killed your daughter, and then Jerome killed your wife and shit. Maybe that's why he was standing up. He wasn't sitting down. But that's crazy. I understand they spared him at the same time, but still, like, what the fuck? That's weird. But Franklin coming to grips of first with Rob. Rob is just like, "Yo, you didn't have to shoot me." He's like, "Yeah, I did. you were using, blah, blah, blah. He like, yo, it's other ways you could have handled that. And then we see, metaphorically, Rob shooting Franklin. You know what I'm saying? Then we see, we see Rob shooting Franklin. Then we see Franklin's mom come in there, finds him because she comes to realize everybody's fucking laced with something. But like even the scene where they look over, like Franklin's standing there and they look over him, he just starts running in the house. And like, yo, what is he doing? Like they not neither one of them thought that was weird. Like, what the fuck? Franklin don't do shit like that. But it was great, man. The imagery, he walks in the house, is all of a sudden he's like he's on his stage. Maybe that's how he feels all the time. He's on the stage, so he has to put on a costume or demeanor and not be who he is. It's just little metaphorical shit I was seeing, man. But I love that interaction with him and Rob, man. I thought that was pretty dope. We also see when his mom come in, we see she helps him, and then her true feelings get manifested, where she tells him, you picked a white man over your dad, and then you chose money over God. I was like, ooh, that's deep. And when you think about it, it's not true. It's not far fetched at all. But he tells the mom to get out pretty much. And Leon winds up helping her go in the car, and then we see him come to grips with we see him come to terms with Reed, and he's telling Reed like, listen, and we don't know if this is metaphorical or if he's just manifesting this or what's going on or if this is true. But come to find out, this was actually true, and I knew it was true because when Reed was just sitting there, he wasn't interacting like the other hallucinations were. He was just sitting there listening and said a few words. But Franklin really called him. He said, listen, I understand what you think this is. Like, you think you got to kill me before this is over. But he's like, let me tell you, I'm going to kill you before you kill me. And that's what I've been saying the whole season. It's going to be Franklin or Reed. They gunning for each other. Like, Reed is the real villain of this season. Every season of Snowfall has a villain. Last season, Scully Manboy. This and Khadijah. This season is Reed and Kane, but mainly Reed. Reed is the main villain. Kane is just like a sub villain, like a distraction. So yeah, and then Franklin is a pretty much an enemy of himself as well this season. Franklin's realizing he himself has been his own worst enemy from a lot of the decisions he made. We see Sissy run out, and she wants to call the thing off with the waiter, and she kind of blows up the spot. And she kind of tells Leon, like, listen, I messed up. I hired I hired some killers. Everybody's going to die. Leon think obviously she's high on some shit. So he like, yo, you can sleep in my car. But she's really telling the truth, but it's just coming off. It's crazy because it's crazy. It's crazy. Like my girl say to my daughter, you're cute, but you're crazy. So you listen, I love the exchange between Javi and Leon. Leon is enlightened, but you see that he's still closed-minded in a lot of areas, and it's not due to his unwillingness to be open. It's just certain things he don't know being in those projects all day. Those projects hinder you from a lot of knowledge, no matter how many books you read. But he don't know he can just get a passport and fly away and go wherever he wants to, and the fact that he has money. He got the listen. Franklin Saint ain't telling him or taking him on these trips where he's flying everywhere, or he's not taking him and showing him I got my own plane. We can fly anywhere the fuck we want. Franklin kind of at the same time wants to keep him down. I feel like, or not knowing as much as him. Or maybe it was Leon's own just unwillingness to go. I can't say that. Maybe Leon just didn't want to go. But I feel like Franklin took him on a trip or somewhere before they flew somewhere. If I'm not mistaken. But Javi was putting him on the game. Like, listen, man, you got money, and you're enlightened. You can go anywhere the fuck you want to go. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you could talk to certain countries and figure out how they beat America. They fought America and they won. Because that's where Leon is right now. He's on some I want to fight America type shit. And I want to know Leon is hungry for knowledge right now. And I like it, man, and it's crazy because characters like this, when they do try to redeem themselves or try to get, they normally don't make it because they become they're a product. At the end of the day, they're a product of their environment. So their environment is going to be the destruction of them. You know what I'm saying? All that enlightenment, you still in the fucking projects. Like you still living in the projects. You're not going to do your business there and then going to the suburbs or somewhere afterwards. You do your business there, but you live there. And I understand it. He for his people. He feel like he got to take care of those people and whatnot. But at the same time, he's stunting his growth. Because listen, I understand what you're saying, but he poisoning his community. It's not like he there uplifting them and then he at the same time he's selling rock. He's poisoning them or he's selling weight, whatever the fuck he doing. He's selling rock. He doing hand to hand. That's why they want the projects because they got it on Smash. We receives this message that we see from Franklin, and he does the thing, and he goes, and the girlfriend he has suggests, listen, he at the wedding, let's go to his apartment, and I'm like, yo, Franklin needs some new security or a new doorman or something. How do he keep getting inside his apartment? Like after the first time, I would have been like, you know what? I want some armed security here at all times. I want 8 surveillance cameras. This ain't about to happen again. Listen, what about the part when Gustavo rolled down that hill? When he showed him, I said, oh, man, he high too. And he rolls down this hill. I'm like, what is going on here? Yo, that shit was hilarious. After Reed, Franklin looks like he's calming down or he's coming down from his trip and he's about to go back to the party. And then we see one more hallucination, and this was my favorite one. This was Franklin versus Franklin. It was like first season Franklin. He got his famous baseball shirt that he used to wear, and we see who he was versus who he became, and he's trying to tell him like, this ain't what I wanted. He was like, man, if it wasn't for me, you'd be sitting at a desk job working for the white man. And he's like, oh, the white man, huh? The white man, like the same white man that you're getting your drugs from and doing this and this and this and that from. And he was just like, you don't see your empire's about to crumble. He's like, man, he said it ain't about to crumble. I won't let it. And he was just like, yeah, you won't let it. He was like, you don't see that the way you see things is different from the way Jerome and them see things. Like, yeah, you got your intentions are good and you might even come off, but they don't see it like that. They not gonna see your vision. And he was just putting Franklin on the game. Like, not putting him on the game, but it was just an intense back and forth between Franklin and Franklin. I thought this was genius. I was just like, oh wow. And he was telling Franklin, like, look at all the collateral damage that's been caused because of you. He even went back to Lenny and Ray Ray and Carvel, bunch of people, man. I don't know if he mentioned Melody, even though she didn't die, she was still collateral damage, but he was just mentioning like, yo, you killed this person, bow, bodies. That's what he said. I said, oh man, this is intense. That was my favorite scene probably of the show so far, or of the episode thus far. I'm trying to think what else. We see that the detective, what's his name again? Why am I drawing a blank? We see him about to go get Kane at the end, and it looks botched already. Listen, Kane is sitting in the car where I think maybe 2 people or 1 person. But then if you look on the side, it's like a bunch of guys on here that probably got guns. But I know he said Kane's not hiding, but I think Kane is always in a situation where he's probably around people. But Kane just out here living free, living his best life. He ain't worried about too much, you know what I'm saying? He don't let nobody just walk up on him, but for the most part, he just be chilling. Then we see Franklin finally comes out, and he has a dance with Louis. Before that, he has a talk with Leon. So Franklin lets him know, like, yeah, yo, you're a good dude. I appreciate you, yada, yada. Then we see Franklin have a dance with Louis, cuts in. Prior to that, Jerome and Louis were tripping shit, but I love the scene when they were both talking to each other, but they were like talking at the same time, and then they ended with "I love you." I thought that was pretty dope. I'm like, yo, that's some good acting. Listen, I'm pretty sure this episode was a blast for the actual people involved in making the show, like the actors. I'm pretty sure this was probably their funnest episode because it was out of the norm. It was a wedding. And it just seemed like it was fun as hell. It wasn't nothing strenuous. This was they was doing. They was just acting. But we see Franklin finally cuts in with Louis. And he's like, "Yo, I should have treated you as an equal instead of having you under me," which ain't the case. Franklin, Louis wasn't who she was today. She just got ambitious as of after she got shot. She got ambitious, but he asked her if it's too late, and she says, "Yeah." And then you just see a look in Franklin's eye, or he just knows. You know what I'm saying? You understand? Franklin he's always. I'm gonna say he's a step ahead. But he does figure shit out. And then if something happens and he, that kind of blindsides him, he always got a contingency plan, or he'll figure something out because he's a thinker. So I think he knows the situation with Louis, but he'll have a contingency plan. Then it's going to get out about the attempt on what's his face, Kane. And then I don't know, Kane might have got shot still. Because I know it's a scene in the trailer of somebody being in the hospital. So we don't know if that was Buckley, and I just remember the cop's name on something. We don't know if that's Buckley or Kane that was in the hospital. I think it might be Kane, and I think Franklin might pay him a visit and tell him, listen, man, that wasn't me. I just want to let you know that wasn't me. Somebody acted out alone. If you want to what's the name, that's on you. But I'm telling you right now, I'm not in this shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I could be wrong though. But I don't know. I like the episode, man. I'm waiting for next episode already. Everybody thought this episode was gonna be the one, but listen, this was a self-contained episode. It was a necessary episode. This episode is about the organization crumbling, like I said, and it's just internal family shit. That's what it's about. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Make sure you post your comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. As always, peace, love, and prosperity. I am the Black Abstract one.